Today, we will have Deanna Faraone as our guest speaker. Hi, Deanna.
Hi.
So Deanna is not just only a top producer who closed over 30 deals last year and did over close to $10 million in sales volume, but she's also a single mom. I have to give that credit for you because I'm not a single mom and it's already super tough for me. So congratulations on that. And she's also the National Executive Coach for Allison James Estates and Homes. She created the program last year for Allison James agents, and she has trained over 30 students already. Thank you, Deanna, for being here today.
Thank you.
So this event, let's remember, is sponsored by Allison James Estates and Home. My name is Jessica Crumbaugh. I am one of the owner of Allison James. We are in 16 states, and our goal is to find a way to share education and bring knowledge to real estate agents out there, and not just Allison James agents, all real estate agents. We have many upcoming events. Every Friday, we do a Fun Fact Friday for all agents, and we teach about new apps or new tools that you can use in your day-to-day real estate activity. We also have a national webinar every third Wednesday of the month. And this month, we will have Zillow, one speaker from the Zillow group who will come and talk about how to utilize Zillow for free. But let's go ahead and go back to time management with Deanna. So Deanna, when I think about time management, the first thing I'm thinking is about it's to-do list, right? But I think before we get into the to-do list, the agent should have more a vision of what they need to accomplish. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think as you get into the business, you start learning what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And I'm a big person when it comes to, I love to-do lists. I have lists all around me. I've got lists written like, kind of ugly. I'm kind of a, what are they called? Organized chaos person. A lot of people don't get me. I've got lists behind me on a board. I got lists in CRMs. I got them all over. So I think lists are super important. Before you start your day, the day when you finish your day, like I wrote this one yesterday when I left the office, just so that when I came in, I had a little bit of an organized thought when I got here.
The problem with us in the industry is it's hard to be organized, right? We have leads coming in, we're stopping what we're doing, and we're picking up the phone, and a buyer wants to see your house, and we just drop everything we do and leave. So having like a system that we follow every day is hard. Do you have any tips on things that you do every day to being consistent?
Well, I'm pretty much in here the same time every day. Every day is different. Certain days I have certain activities time blocked for certain days. For example, Mondays are always pretty much, I don't schedule anything usually until about 11 o'clock. So I usually have my appointments scheduled on Wednesdays. Wednesdays and Thursdays are late nights. I can always do late night appointments. I like to keep the schedule open on certain days for certain things. But yeah, every day is a little bit different. Tuesdays at 4:30, I always have lunch with my daughter or appetizer after school with my daughter. There's just certain things every day that I do all the time. Every single week, I know what to expect. But I have to keep it open because no matter how organized or how much you systematize or how much you time block, this is one of those industries, if you're not flexible, you're going to freak out, especially if you're kind of an OCD behavior, which I'm really not too OCD behavior. I'm more ADD behavior. So it works for me. Maybe that's why I do so well in this industry, because I am super flexible. Like just right before we got on here, I had an appointment today at 2:15 with City Hall, and a client that said, I have to meet you at this property today, and there was no other opening. So I just canceled the City Hall thing, and I decided to prioritize my client.
Do you prepare a day before or in the morning before you do anything? Like I know some agents, what they do, they wake up and they jump into email and leads. And when I was a real estate agent, what I did, I took 30 minutes and I prepared my day. I didn't check my email. I don't check my phone. I just prepare my day. Is that something you do?
Every
before?
day. And whether it's me writing a list or mentally preparing my list, I do a lot of mental lists. Like before I go to bed at night, I'm always preparing what I'm going to do for the next day. Um, like I said yesterday when I left, I always write a little list of, hey, what do I need to make sure I accomplish tomorrow? And if I don't finish what I did today, I'll go home and get the kids, and then I'll get home and I'll make dinner, and then I'll do some stuff at night. But I'm always preparing. My mind is constantly going with what I'm going to be doing an hour from now, for the day, for tomorrow, throughout the week. But yeah, definitely want to have a list and a plan prepared for what we need to do and accomplish for this week and day and hour, everything.
We see a lot of us mixing sometimes family time with business because we're not an 8 to 5 business, right? But some people are able to control it. I see some people at the restaurant that pick up their phone and stand up and leave the table, which I think it does affect the family environment. Do you think we should know when to stop and say, hey, you know what? This is my family that time, and I'm only going to focus on my family. And I think also focusing in your family, it will help you grow in the business too.
Absolutely. When I first started in this business, I remember one year I sat at the Thanksgiving table and I left the table to take a phone call and go show a house. And I remember thinking back then, what are you doing? But you're new and you need the business. You're trying to get started. The whole point of this is to create your why for your family, so you can provide for your kids, so you can, have a lifestyle that's good for everybody, for your family. But I'm at that point in my life now where that was so silly. You have to prioritize your family and your friends. I teach this in one of the classes in our coaching program, and it's, you've got to put the phone down. It's so rude. I mean, I go places, I go to dinner and I see families all on their phone. It drives me nuts. I make my kids put their phone away when tonight we're having our family dinner, and we aren't going to be on our phones. If I need to see something or do a quick little check, make sure there's not a showing that needs to be scheduled or something, yeah, I'll take a peek at it, but I do not try to stop our family time with a phone call. It's silly.
Yeah, and
We
I
have
think
to prioritize that.
yeah, we are the one managing our time. We are the one who can say, you know what, at 6 p.m. I'm having dinner. So from 6 to 8, no, I'm not going to pick up the phone. I'm going to enjoy the moment. So I think the people need to realize you are the one managing your time, and you can make that decision.
Absolutely. You're totally in control of your business. And one of the keys to making sure that goes, your clients understand that, is communicating that with them when you start working with them. I always let them know Sundays are my day. Sundays are my day to do what I want to do with my family. And a lot of times it's laundry and, cleaning house and just catching up on the normal stuff that you don't have time to do throughout the week. But if you communicate with your clients that you do have family time on Sundays, or, after 6, I'm with my family and whatever. And usually if I need to do something and there's an emergency, I can usually get back to you around 8:39 when the 2-year-old's in bed. Then they understand that. And people respect that more than not having that conversation and just ignoring them, and that's why I like texting a lot, because I can kind of quietly, subtly do a little text, and then I don't have to interrupt anything that I'm doing.
Now, do you use any app for time management?
I do not really use an app. The only app I really use is my CRM, and I don't really have an app. I know there's like Evernote and things like that. I'm still an old school handwrite. I'm pretty tech savvy. Pretty much everything I do is very tech savvy and really up to date, except for my lists. I do use notes a lot when I'm out and about and I don't have a pen and a paper, but that's pretty much it. The Apple Notes is the only one I really use.
The Evernote, is that the name?
It's called the Apple, your iPhone, your Notes app.
Okay.
And it's cool now because you can take your notes app and you can share it now with, like, I can share it with my assistant, or I can share it with the kids, or I can say, hey guys, I'm going to do, like, for example, I know this isn't real estate related, but a grocery list. So I'll start a grocery list and I'll share it with my 14-year-old and my 19-year-old and say, hey guys, add anything you'd like me to get. And it's a shared little notes thing, and they can just plug in, get apples or get soda, or yeah, right, nope, not happening, or that kind of stuff. I love the share notes option.
It's in the cloud, right? So they can share into it. Now, you are a top producer who does over 30 deals a year. You're a single mom. and you are also a Allison James National Executive Coach. How do you prioritize all these? How do you say, okay, that's my real estate time and family time, and you have to coach twice a week, right?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty easy now. I think last year was a lot of a challenge for me and you both as we were developing this program together. But you just have this isn't an 8 to 5 business. Sometimes I'll roll in here and I'm not like the best morning person in the world. I am the worst morning person ever. Sometimes I'll roll in here at 9 o'clock, but I will be here dedicated from 9 to whatever, and then I will go home and be just with the kids. You know what I mean? It just depends on what comes my way, what's on the schedule, if I need to get in there early because maybe I'm doing a webinar or things like that. So it really just depends on the day. I don't have a set time of doing things, but if I prioritize tonight dinner, that's what I'm doing. I'm focused on that. If I'm here at the office, I'm focused on that. I'm not a big office person. I don't like to be in the office. Most of my magic happens when I'm outside of the office, but I do realize there's stuff you've got to do here, emails and coordinating docs and coordinating with my assistant. But for the most part, probably one of the best things I ever did to help me prioritize everything was to delegate my business and to get someone like an assistant. And I have been so super blessed with probably one of the most amazing assistants someone could ever ask for. And because of her, I'm able to do what I do. If I didn't have her, I probably would not be able to push the numbers I'm doing and manage the family and manage the coaching business and manage the mentoring and everything else that we do on a daily basis. And 2 pit bulls, don't forget, that need to be trained every day. And my friend time. And I'm dating too, so yeah. You just go with it. I'm
Now,
having a blast.
I know something that I do when it comes to time management, because you have like 3 different categories. Real estate be one, coaching can be another one. For me, with my different businesses, I do different like segment. I do one maybe for Allison James, one for my second business, one for my third one. And so I do 3 segments, and after I separate this segment and prioritize the time, do you separate everything when you do your to-do list every day? Like, okay, I have my coaching segment and my real estate. This is what I need to be accomplishing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's really important is making sure that you have them all separated, but all on the same list. The category is important. For example, today, one of my priorities is dog food, under the personal stuff. So I've got my personal, I've got my business, and then we've got the coaching program. Those are the 3 major categories that I have to make sure I attend to every day, and who's being picked up and where and things like that, and what client needs to go and how many listing appointments and things like that are going on. I think that definitely helps having them separated for sure.
Now, real estate agents are really not that great with like knowing what is a priority. Can you tell us what is a priority? Example, I see a lot of agents where they spend a lot of time maybe building their website. I don't think it should be a priority, right?
Mm-mm.
Can you tell us what should be a priority, what should not be a priority, and what they should be assigning and not doing or delegate?
Well, I think what's priority is always prospecting your business, always going out and meeting people. Like half the time on a Wednesday, my best friend down the street who owns a business in the area that I work in, she'll call me and say, hey, let's go have a beer at the local brewery. And while I'm there, I'll meet 5 different people who are locals who get my card, who end up knowing who I am. And just it doesn't matter where I go, I'm always prospecting. And you'll see that with me. You've seen that with me when we go to lunch or things that we do. I'm always trying to get my card out. I'm always talking about what I do. I'm always opening my mouth. That is always going to be your biggest priority. And that's the best part of what we do, is that no matter where we are, we can prospect. No matter where who you're with, or going to a friend's barbecue or whatever, you get to prospect everywhere you go. And I think the biggest mistake people make is they're afraid to say what they do, and that will stop you from doing what you need to do. So wherever you are, always prospect. That's priority. I'm a big mouth. Most of my friends, they all know what I do. There's not a single person who knows me who does not know what I do. That's, I think, the most important.
Now, the coaching program is your new baby, right? And what I really love about it is the agents are coached by a top producer. It's not like you go to a company and you get a coach who has no experience in real estate, which happened a lot, or they just like in an office atmosphere. No, you are a top producer and you are coaching real estate agent. You are active. You do open house, right? You do. You even like go knock on door. I see, I hear you talking about, yeah, I'm going to go door knocking or doing like drop by and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit about the program? What makes it different?
Oh man, there's so many things that are different about what we do with the Allison James Coaching Program. It's kind of crazy because it's almost been 2 years since you had this bright idea, Jessica. Came to me about this, and I thought you were absolutely crazy. But then I started thinking about it, and it's like, every coaching program I've ever heard of is someone who's getting paid $300,000-$400,000 a year to go and do a raw session. And don't get me wrong, they are great, and I may not have that motivational power that some of these high-paying individuals have. But the key to what we do is I'm taking 20 years of experience. This is not taken from anybody else. This is all original content that you and I have come up with based on a 20-year history, based on your experience, based on my experience, and we're still doing it. Like, I'm still an active agent. So that's completely different. You ask any other agent if would start a coaching program while they still have to provide for their family and do their business, they would tell you there's no way we could ever do that. I love being able to be someone who says, guess what? I just had this situation last week. I just did a sunset open house that ended up turning into $2.5 million in new business for me. And it's just great to be able to hear their, and what's going on with the environment. I'm in it every day. A lot of other coaches out there, they may have done it 20 years ago. Well, it's changing every day. So we're changing our technology lists. We're changing our CRM lists because I'm still doing it. So, things are always changing. When last year, maybe, what was that app you and I used to talk on, the video one, used to be really popular, and we added that in the beginning and then we removed it because it kind of fell off, or things like Periscope, which isn't really as popular as it was when it first started. That's kind of the beauty of what we're doing. Like, we had a meeting yesterday and we're talking about how we need to update, the list and the different apps, and we're changing and we're constantly changing it. So I think there's so much more value to that because we're actually in the industry. I understand the industry. You understand a whole nother world that I don't really get. So I think for me, and I think for anybody who's in this program, can really get so much out of it. And it's just so exciting to see people new, and they motivate me. They inspire me. You kind of had an agent when I first started this business say that you will fry and die in this business if you don't have balance. And he's right. You will. We focus so much on just spinning around and all the stuff that's happening, and I got to do this, and then you're like, one day you just wake up and you're like, I am so burnt out. And being around new agents or agents who have been in this business for a long time but just need an extra push to get them reignited really reignites me and keeps me inspired and motivated too. So it's a two-way street for sure.
Yeah, and I love because time management is a big topic during the coaching program.
Yes.
Talk about go over business.
Time blocking. Yeah, we talk a lot about time blocking, the big blocks in your life, and going along with our class, what we're talking about today. Time blocking is a huge one. If you don't block it out, you're not going to do it. There's a great little story we talk about in the coaching program, and that kind of relates to that. And I just think that's so important. I have to time block stuff in order to do it. And then we fit in all the nooks and crannies of the other stuff that are important.
Yeah, here's also a couple good feature I like about your coaching program. When you do your open house, you go live on the Facebook group, so we can see like doing your open house.
Yep.
Just love that.
Which is kind of I'm always applying what we talk about in the Mega Open House segment, which is actually what we're going to do next week is the Mega Open House segment. And I'll go and show them, hey guys, I'm not just telling you to go do this. I'm doing it too. Here's all the things we talked about. Here's the Open Home Pro. Here's the 20 signs we just put out. Here's our balloons. Here's all the stuff. I'm not just sitting here telling you what to do and not doing it. I'm doing it with you.
And the last thing is also, like you mentioned, the program is updated every 90 days, which most of the time when a company does a program, it's stayed pretty much the same for like 5 years, but we keep up with apps, we keep up with CRM system. We just added KV Core to the coaching program and the bells and whistle with it. So, well, Deanna, thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for giving tips on time management.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Bye, Deanna. Have a great day.